Hello everyone, I'm Lisa Flint. I've just blown in. And today we are back with more Seduce Me 2, The Demon Walls. Last time, we concluded another of Sam's routes. I kinda died. So, not the good ending we were hoping for. But that's fine. I think there's still 3 more potential outcomes we can get. So, let us press on with a new... third shot at maybe getting the air quotes good ending. If this is the first time watching one of these videos on my channel, hello, welcome. Also, I will be using the skip button a lot. So if you're interested in seeing all of the dialogue, I recommend going to the beginning of Sam's paths and watching from there till present. You will see everything I cover. Because reality is there's a lot of repeating dialogue, and I do not always have the most time in the world to record, especially this summer. So, yeah. Anyway, let's dive in, shall we?
Hold on there!
Kay.
Before you start the game, I need to ask you a few things. Don't want you getting lost now.
But I'm so good at it.
First of all, have you read the first story? Seduce Me?
Insult.
Oh!
Skip. Yes, I know.
Oh! Awesome!
Yeah, I'm good.
Alright then. Oh!
And we're at my house, and we're talking about my wedding, because that's a thing girls do with their future brother-in-laws, right? And it's time to name my character. I'm gonna call my character Ariel, because his name's... Why am I calling her Ariel for Sam? Oh, tells me how dumb that name is now. Oh well. But it made way more sense for Eric. Oh. Anyway, it's a pretty name. And I am way too lazy to change it midstream. So let's say it's Ariel. And since we're discussing the wedding, do you want a small wedding or do you want a big wedding? I would prefer something low-key and small because, yeah, I am not good with large crowds. Also, this day should be for, us and close family and friends. Not, half the city. And then my friends call, so I have to ditch the wedding plans to go talk to my besties because I miss Naomi and Zuzu, something fierce. And of course, when you get girls together, we're gonna discuss sex, right? Has Sex in the City taught us nothing? This is all we talk about. And, yeah, we've had sex, so what? And we've seen this outcome before. Meanwhile, back in the main room, Sam has dropped a bomb of, he wants to get demon married? And it's a ritual, and it's a whole big thing. But his brothers don't think it's a good idea, but, you know what? I would talk about it, because... it's important to Sam, And we see what happens when we talk about it, and then the next day he's like, I need to ask one more person's permission. But you already asked my dad. I know, I want to ask your grandpa, because he's the reason I'm even in this first. So we go to the grave. It's awesome. And now we're home, and... yeah, we need to talk about, what he wants from the wedding. The whole demon ritual thingy. And we've seen what he needs. And after that lovely little conversation we have about, yeah, I would like to get demon married. I don't think I can in the human world because stuff doesn't exist here I need for it. And then night comes on, we start thinking about it. I got lingerie as a gift. I should break it out, right? Yeah, I should totally break it out. So I go upstairs ahead of him, sexy times, I have nightmare. Wedding day comes, I get kidnapped, yeah, I would legit cry if I got kidnapped on my wedding day IRL, so I'm gonna cry in game. Yes. Waha, wah, wah, wah. Cry. Disgusting, they try to send me home, they fail. And Daddy gets knocked into a wall, but I'm okay with Daddy getting knocked into a wall. And they're gonna take me to my new guest quarters, which is pretty sweet. And then Diana comes in, she explains some things to me. Yes?
Good. A good rest is always important, especially to humans.
I know, right? And we talk, and she tells me, you should stay in the castle, because at least we can kind of keep you safe. But, the safest thing of all would be to stay in your room, because not all of my guards know who you are, and there's a slight chance you might get hurt, but you know what? Don't care. Going exploring. Yay! I'm gonna go left, because left-handed. I'm gonna go left again, just so I have an easier time to get back to my room. And then I find Diana and her guards sparring, and then they eventually make out with each other. It's like, ooh, voyeurism. Oh, wait, voyeurism bad. I should go. And I go back to my room, where there's food waiting for me. But I don't trust mystery meat of the demon world, so... No. I think I'll wait for breakfast. No. Maybe if they had a vegan option, I might consider it. Nope. Next day, they perform the ritual. They try to send me home. It fails because, of course, I'm cursed. And then another portal opens up. The boys come through. Their wives come through. Sam comes through. And, of course, immediately Sam wants to fight Diana because, well, I can't blame him. I went missing. We have not had the best history with Diana. So yeah, I don't mind him being pissed, but we're guests, so how about you stop that, Sam? Yeah, this is bad. Let's stop it from becoming worse. I know what I'm hearing, okay?
I'm so happy you're safe.
Me too, Sam. Me too. And... you know what? We need a quick little kiss here. Mwah. And we've seen what happens when we do that. Now we discuss strategy. Do we do a curse or do we do a trap? If we curse, however, we need to sacrifice somebody, and I'm not down for that. So I'm gonna say trap, because I'm cool like that. Also, I refuse to become the Demon Lord to defeat him. Yay! And it's revealed that, yeah, I don't want you fighting in the war. It's like, but I'm awesome and we can fight too. Because, I'm the main character. And we're on our way to our new guest quarters because, yeah, it's been a day. And...
Hey, you sure you're all right?
A very valid question, Sam. Am I alright? How to answer that? No, I am not okay. None of this is okay. Cool, right? So let's just go to the room already. You know what? I am too wound up. Too much weird shit has happened. Help me stay awake. And bad dream when we do eventually sleep, because, I saw us both burn to death. That's not fun. I'm gonna kiss him again, because I need the comfort of his lips. Yay. And it's the next morning, it's time for breakfast. Everybody comes to our room because... Why does everyone come to my room? Gosh darn it. And, I'm gonna tell them what's going on. Because this is my family. Also, they kinda deserve to know. I'm hearing voices. Is this magic or am I just going insane? And Diana arrives and kills the mood because her and Sarah really don't seem to like Sam. mean, they've been cool to me. And, oh yeah, it turns out I can't go home unless I'm in the room when the Demon Lord dies. Yay! This is the worst wedding present ever. So they've decided I need to be trained because I actually need to be present, but I don't need a trainer. I'm awesome. Suck it. And I go out to train, and while I'm training, I meet this lovely lady called Mirth, who I think honestly has the best name ever. And she asked me, would I like to spar with her? It's like, yes, I would. Make me more awesome. Train me, blonde, orange lady. And we fight, and then that night, there's ice and fire, and the voice is still talking to me. Also, Sam and Sarah sparring. Only I don't really think it's friendly sparring. So, as uncomfortable as this makes me, I'm gonna chill on the sidelines with Diana. I'm gonna wait and watch. Because clearly the boys need to work something out between them. Clangy clang swordy fight. And finally...
I said I don't know!
I know, right? I don't know either. Because that aura that was around him is, it's kind of new. And... You know what? I'm gonna wait patiently. If he wants to talk about this, we'll talk about it. If not, that's fine too. And we go back to our room.
She's merely following instructions.
Oh, yeah.
No harm will come to him.
It's this time again. Yeah, it turns out that voice belongs to a dragon. The dragon has convinced Diana and Sero that they need to help him test us. The help they're going to administer for this test is Diana's going to become a doppelganger of me and try seducing my husband. Or future husband, I should say. And I am not okay with this. I'm not okay with any of this. Really, I'm not. But, the game's not giving me an option to just flip them both off and storm out of the room. And... you know what? So far, my girl has been patient. She is going to continue being patient. Awesome. And Sam kicks everyone's ass because he saw right through it. That's my man. And you know what? I'm just gonna tell him the truth and see what he does with it. And we've seen what happens when we tell him the truth before, so cool. And now it's just us because they finally left. And you know what? It's okay, buddy. You passed. I know you didn't fall for her as me. It's fine. He's upset. Understandably so, though. And we go walking, and I spy on my brother-in-laws and their wives, and they look happy. And...
You alright?
I don't know. Am I alright? Yeah, I guess I'm alright. Let's go. We got this, right? Oh, wait, you're still in demon form. You know what? You don't get to walk around like this at home, and I am not minding the view, truthfully, so, you know what? You save your energy, and you get to stay like that. Green is a very good color for him. You know what? He is in demon form. We're in the demon world. We have a room that's not ours, so if we trash it in the throes of passion, who's gonna know? Let's roll initiative, shall we? And sexy music time. Yay! And we rode our dragon Sam. The end. Oh wait, no it's not. We're still going. It is time for me to test. Yay. A kiss for luck. Let's go. Oh wait, because the test is at night, I train, I walk around, I voyeur on more people, and now it's time for me to take the test, finally. And we walk in, there's stuff on the table, it's for a demon marriage ritual, question mark. Yay, I was right. And now it's test time. I get dumped into the woods alone. Sam is nowhere in sight. How do I handle this situation? I'm gonna calm down, because wandering around in circles ain't gonna help. I got this. Alright, I can totally figure this out. I am smart. And we're wandering, we eventually find him. Yeah, it turns out he had a collar on him that was keeping him pinned in place and silent. Not cool, dragon. Not cool. And you know what? As a callback to the first game, boy, you're going to let me kiss you. Because, yeah, in the first game, I think it's his very first line of dialogue to the main character. It's, girl, you are going to let me kiss you. Aw, even this reminds you, yeah, that totally happened. Cool. And it's go time. We're in front of the cave. I'ma let him do it, cause he got this, right? He's fine. You got this. Go get him, sweetie. And he goes into the cave, and he comes back, and he's fine. Yay! He has Dragon Lord powers activated, finally. Yay! And after we come back, Diana dismisses all of us, except for Sam, which I don't trust. So I'm voyeuring it up again. And Diana apparently blames the boys and me for all the bad shit that happened during the war. Not the Demon Lord, you know, the one who killed everybody, but me and mine. I disagree. I've spoken about why in other videos. But yeah, I don't... No. Oh yeah, and before I can just barge in there and set her straight, Damien shows up and kind of stops me from doing that. So I'm gonna struggle to step in, because I don't trust her with him. And Sam leeches away Diana's rage, because as a brute demon, he can do that apparently. And Damien pulls me aside and explains some things, like how the 4 incubi brothers are not purebred incubi. Their dad is a brute demon. And Sam just got more of the brute than the rest of his brothers, hence why he can siphon off people's rage. It's interesting. I think it's a great character concept and quirk. Yeah, but I talked about that last time, in detail, so I am just trying to give you the cliff notes of that. You know what, if we're good, we might die tomorrow, as I proved in the last run. Let's have fun. Naked fun. And we have a good time, and it's go day, Diana gives her speech. Oh yeah, Alex is here. Yay. And last time I tried to help, I kinda died. So I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna stay back, and I'll let Sam handle this, right? And this is the first new dialogue we've had in almost 18 minutes. A part of me knew better than to try. Malix probably had a weapon, and if I knew anything about Malix, he would use that against me without hesitation. Other me didn't know that. I was out of energy to even defend myself from him, and I was sure that's what my grandfather's protection spell ran on. Aha! Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. He wanted to beat Sam before trying to kill him. His pride was his own. His pride was one downfall of his that I remember very clearly. That's a very awkward way to word that sentence. Sorry, I'm just rereading this to myself, trying to make that sentence make more sense. I understand what they're trying to say, just it's very awkwardly worded to read out loud. Malix continued to pound punch upon punch onto Sam's body, making the body-shaped indentation in the castle wall that much deeper. However, with a small flash of red light, heat suddenly began to erupt from the center.
Get off!
Hey, we did that last night, sweetie, remember? Several times. Malix was suddenly forced back from a bright energy pulse, as Sam pushed himself out of the hole as he was trapped in. Around his body was a green, flickering waves of energy, pulsating in time with Sam's breath. I stared in shock, watching smoke rise from the crevice of Sam's mouth and his nostrils as he formed a large sword in his hands. Speedy, remember we needed to save that energy for fighting your dad? Something in his eyes was burning as he fueled it with rage.
Ooh! Got some fire this time, huh?
Sir, he is the Dragon Lord. Learn your place. Malix raised an arm at his side, forming a large sword with a red blade and a chain connecting from the hilt to his belt.
Well, so do I.
Yeah, but I'm willing to bet my husband's is bigger. Malix and Sam rushed at each other, slamming their swords into each other with reckless speed. I couldn't understand how Malix gained the ability to be as fast as Sam. But something about the devil was very different from the first and last time I had seen him. Yeah, he's covered in scars now, and has a pentagram on his chest. He was much more cocky, and there was some sort of strength within him that frightened me more than before. However, I felt that Sam still had the upper hand. There was no way he would let Malix win. Sam flipped over Malix and slashed at his back, opening the fabric of his vest, but not deep enough to make contact with skin. Malix snarled and spun around, re-initiating their clash of swords.
What's wrong, pretty boy? You seem to be holding back!
Really?
I don't need to waste energy killing you!
Exactly. At last, their swords slammed against one another, a screech echoing through the air. Both pushed against one another, snarling to each other's faces.
It's pointless, Incubus! This world is fucked!
I don't know about that.
Tell that to Satan when you die!
Exactly. Sam suddenly lifted his foot up and jammed it into Malix's chest, kicking him back towards the castle wall. With a grunt and the crack of broken ribs reverberating through the air, Malix slid back and glared at Sam. However, the glare quickly died into a look of sadistic amusement as Malix rolled his shoulders and stood back up, as if he could just shrug off one end of the injury. Around his body grew a bright orange and red flame, causing waves of heat to pulse through the air around us.
Final showdown? You got it!
Exactly. Kick his ass, sweetie. And by that I mean Sam. Sam, with a smirk of his own, stood tall with a fast-growing green and red aura around his form. The air outline of dragons danced within the tongues of flames as Sam seemed to change to a powerful attack. The faint outline of dragons dancing within the tongues of flames as Sam seemed to charge a powerful attack. Ooh, it's about to get real!
It's over, Malix.
Exactly. I watched as they both charged up their final attacks and forced their palms out toward each other. Green and red orbs of light shot out from each of their hands and collided, followed by brilliant rays that pushed them forward and into each other. I had to shut my eyes, blocking the flash of light from blinding my vision, before looking back up and seeing the bout with the gas. The air around the orbs pulsed heavily, flipping in all directions and fueled by both the demon and the devil. And it would be nice to be able to see this. The orbs grew into one another, lighting, fire bursting from the minuscule space between them. Both opponents had their eyes locked on each other, as as the earth around them bent and bowed away from the collision of their power. The green orb seemed to quake with the shadow of the dragons in its center, pressing against the wall of the orb and forcing forward against the obstacle. Still, they were somehow equally matched. How could this be?
Give him your remaining energy, child. It is the only way to end this.
Yeah, but are we supposed to be saving it, for the Demon Lord? The voice of the dragon rang in my head as I stared at Sam. His face was tight with pure anger and determination. He was giving as much as he could, but I knew he was holding back to save energy for his father. Exactly. One of us remembers we have a goal. I took a breath and quickly rushed over to Sam, grabbing hold of his arm and feeling his body naturally pull energy from me. Yeah,
What are you doing?
giving you energy, Toothless. Ending this together. Sam stared at me, causing his orb to falter, but as I pressed my energy onto him, Sam nodded and focused back on Alex, concentrating on his orb forward with both his energy and mine. Alex would not win. I wouldn't let him. At last, the deadlock became pressed as Sam's orb pushed Alex back, inch by inch with each push getting stronger and faster. I could feel myself grow dizzy, but I didn't care. This was Alex's last stand.
What? No!
That. I glared hard at Alex as the clash between them became full of green energy, cutting through the devil's attack with ease. At last, the dragons reached their prey as the orb finally flashed into Alex's body, enveloping him in light.
No!
Yes! Sam and I held on to each other, letting go of the energy ray that covered our eyes, with Sam covering me with his arms. We dug our heels into the earth, struggling to stay in place as energy pushed us away from Alex. The gusts pressed and rushed against our bodies until, at last, the wind stopped. Sam and I slowly lifted our heads and looked over, wanting to see what had become of Alex. There was no trace of him. The spot where he stood was charred, and the smoke that rose from the ashes of the area danced in the air like rising dragons. We did it! We killed him at last! I crumpled to my knees, slamming my hands to the ground to keep myself upright as I panted. I was worn out. If I hadn't been energy before, I definitely was now. Sam quickly dropped down beside me, wrapping her around my shoulders and laying a careful hand on my own.
Whoa! Are you okay?
Not really, no. I nodded, obviously lying, but I knew that we had more important things to worry about. Alex was gone, hopefully dead for real. And we were at the castle gates, ready to charge in and fight the Demon Lord. As Sam and I looked up, we both locked our sights on the window exploding outward, with a figure flying out of it. As the figure flapped their wings and steadied themselves, they swooped back inside. Diana! I gripped Sam's arm and lifted myself up, knowing that we had to get inside.
You good?
Uh-huh. I'm great. Let's go. Yeah, let's just go. Sam nodded before taking my hand and rushing forward, speeding through the twisted turns of the castle toward a large archway leading up onto the tower, where we could hear Diana and the Demon Lord fighting above. Sam and I raced up the stairs of the tower, hearing the echoed cries and clashes of steel bouncing off the stone walls. My heart began to race at the sound of weapons meeting stop with Diana screaming. Ah! Uh-oh, that's no good.
Enough!
Agreed, die already. Ooh, this is a new room. Sam and I finally reached the top, staring wide-eyed at the sight of the Demon Lord and Diana. The Demon Lord had Diana's throat in a hard grip, as his other hand gripped onto her wings, his fingers digging into them roughly. Hey, she is not into that. we could barely react as the Demon Lord ripped them off of Diana's back by pulling Diana's body in the opposite direction. Ew. Poor Dee. The Demon Lord, basking in his success, lifted the torn wings to his mouth and let the blood dribble from the open wounds onto his tongue. I fought not to gag at the sight. Sam, however, shouted and made the room shake with his voice. His rage showed his feelings clearly, despite seeing the one who fathered him after years of separation.
Hey, shithead!
Eloquent as ever, sweetie. Eloquent as ever. The Demon Lord instantly peered over, locking his eyes onto Sam's form. Sam began to step forward, appeased with the new challenger. The Demon Lord licked his lips and tossed Diana to the side. Hey, don't do that. That's rude. Diana landed with a hard thud and slid across the floor, slamming against one of the stone frames that kept the stained glass of the room together. On her back were two large wounds that weren't healing or fading away into her body like I expected. Well, she literally had parts of her body ripped off. I don't think you're just gonna pop up from that. Diana.
Go check on her. This bastard is mine.
Kick his ass, sweetie. Sam continued to walk forward as I nodded and rushed over to Diana. She struggled to push herself up onto her hands, falling back onto the floor in failure as I approached. I gotcha. Hold on.
Settle.
Yeah, you might want to get out of here. Before my eyes, a small white light flashed beside us, revealing Sero. He quickly looked around before he looked down at Diana and rushed to his knees beside her.
Desire!
Yeah! Yeah, things aren't going well for your girl. I got onto my knees and helped Diana get up onto hers. Seeing her worn and tired face. As she got up, she instantly fell to the side into Sero's arms. Sero quickly wrapped his arms around Diana and kissed her head, most likely trying to feed her energy to heal. Her back wounds, despite the energy, were still not closing. All across her body were slash marks and bruises from the intense struggle. But I knew already that she had put up a good fight. Now it was Sam's turn, and my guy's gonna kick her ass. The Demon Lord raised his arms to his sides, visually challenging his new opponent, with a wide smirk on his face and a scowl in his eyes.
So you wanna die too? I always knew you were a disgrace.
Dude, go fuck yourself.
I've waited a long time to kick your ass.
Woo! Get him! Oh! That's pretty! Sam glared hard at the Demon Lord before reaching up and summoning his sword. As he did, flames began to quickly engulf his body, twisting and shaping into multiple dragons that brought surprise and fear into the Demon Lord's eyes. Yeah! He leveled up off screen. He unlocked a power.
You will burn and fall into the darkest depths of the abyss where you belong.
Exactly. The Demon Lord, however, snarled and summoned his own blade, ready for battle. There was no more room to place threats. Their blades could speak for them now. Sam and the Demon Lord rushed at each other, arcing their blades at each other and slamming their swords together. As they clashed, the red lightning and wildfire shot out from the impact between them. This did not deter Sam and the Demon Lord from slashing and swinging at each other, tearing over and over with murderous vigor. It was like watching fireworks go off in a massive storm. Flames around Sam began to circle around him, and the Demon Lord forming an inescapable ring around them. This was going to be a battle to the death. By flame or by sword, neither opponent seemed to hold anything back. Nor should they. This is literally a fight to the death.
How? How did you get this power?
Because he is the Lord of Dragons, sir.
Doesn't matter how! What you need to know is that I'm gonna use it to kill you!
The Demon Lord grabbed hold of Sam's sword and kicked Sam's hand to make him release it. However, as the sword left Sam's hand, it vanished and reappeared in Sam's grip, as if it belonged there. Oh, magic sword, cool. Using the opportunity, Sam slashed at the Demon Lord and carved a deep line into the Demon Lord's chest. The Demon Lord stepped back, gripping his chest as, before my eyes, the skin around the wound began to burn and release black smoke. The Demon Lord snarled in reply, swinging his sword again at Sam.
You're dead!
The Demon Lord pummeled barrage slashes and swipes at Sam with his own sword, only to be blocked and parried each time. I felt a hopeful smile grow on my face. We were going to win. The strange excitement of the situation filled my body with joy. I was going to go home and be with my family and friends, and live in the human world. Sam and I were going to live happily ever after, and this was the door to get us there. We're gonna go home. Are we? Sam and the Demon Lord jumped away from each other, glaring hard at one another as they began to circle each other.
Rat, needing power of a dragon to defeat me?
Hey, we had to go through a lot to get that power, sir.
You don't fucking get it, do you? I don't just have the power of a dragon.
Go on. My eyes couldn't believe what I was seeing. A pair of wings wreathed in flames suddenly erupted from Sam's back. Which would be cool if, they didn't open with that visual already. This would have been a really good reveal if they had brought it in on this title card. Anyway, a pair of wings wreathed in flames suddenly erupted from Sam's back, lifting him into the air. Sam's voice boomed through the air, filled with magic, rage, and power.
I am a dragon!
Roar. Sam raised his sword, pausing to become engulfed by a red and green flame, before swinging it down into the Demon Lord. As it clashed with the Demon Lord's sword, a burst of flame erupted from between the blades. Exactly. You lost. Each block the Demon Lord caused another burst to explode in his sight. Sparks and flame licked violently against his skin as he tried to defend himself from the dragon that was Sam. Soon enough, even the Demon Lord couldn't defend anymore. Sam knocked the Demon Lord's sword away, causing it to slide against the floor outside of the ring of fire.
Now!
Yes!
It's over!
Exactly, ended, sweetie. Sam swooped at the Demon Lord, jammed his blade into the Demon Lord's chest, making his resounding gasp of pain echo through the flames. The Demon Lord's eyes wavered, staring at the far wall as the flames around them began to die out. Black and red smoke rose from the blade, dancing around the Demon Lord's body and dissipating into the air above. Bye.
Goodbye, old man.
And your wedding gift sucked. Sam gripped his sword with both hands and yanked the sword out of his father's body, making the Demon Lord arc back before falling forward. Smoke continued to rise and engulf the Demon Lord's body, as if it was beginning to cremate itself after death. Good, saves us planning a funeral. As the Demon Lord let out his last breath, silence at last engulfed the room, only interrupted by the sound of Sam's labored breathing. It was over. It was finally over. I could feel tears well up in my eyes as the situation sank into my body, causing me to place my hands on the floor and stare into the dark marble. We did it! We really did it! I looked to Sam, seeing him land softly on the ground while his wings vanished into clouds of smoke. As he turned to me, I could see the exhaustion hit his body like a tidal wave. One step towards me brought him crashing down to his knees. Sam! Before I could even stand to run to him, Sam lifted his hand, laughing tiredly. You jerk!
I'm fine. Calm down.
No! You... Murgh! I relaxed for a moment, relieved to know that he was all right. I felt myself let out a sigh as I heard Diana chuckle beside me.
He wore you out that fast? You're not as tough as you look, brute.
God damn it, Diana, must you kill the mood? Sam chuckled and raised a middle finger at Diana. For once I don't blame him, curling his shoulders over himself as he tried to breathe and relax from the whole ordeal. I felt myself laugh as I took in the situation as well. The war was over. It was...
I won't be the only one who dies here.
Yes, you will. His whispered voice barely reached my ears. It couldn't be. I looked over, horrified as I saw the demon lord, barely pushing up on his hands, glare at me through the smoke surrounding him with crazed, almost psychotic eyes. As he suddenly pointed his hand at me, everyone else had only just turned around to see him.
Die!
You first! Uh-oh. Within a mere breath of seconds, a line of red lightning was fired straight at me from his outstretched hand. I didn't have time to react. I didn't have time to think. Time seemed to move in slow motion as the red bolt inched closer to my body, about to make impact with my sternum. Sam, despite his speed, wasn't as fast enough to stop its journey towards my chest. I could see my life flash before my eyes. It was over. No! Uh-oh. Dee, what are you doing? I felt my body being pushed violently to the side, away from the incoming attack. I turned my head as I was pushed and stared wide-eyed at who was pushing me away. Uh-oh. With a crash, the window behind us shattered, with Diana flying out of it. Yeah, Diana who, lost her wings recently. Diana, who had been beside me the entire fight, stared at the incoming attack as she took my place in its trajectory. There was no time to shout back. There wasn't any time to stop it from happening. I could only watch as the ray slammed against Diana's chest and forced her body backwards into the stained glass behind us. My gaze followed Diana's body, seeing her look to me with a sad, teary-eyed smile. There were no words that could be said as she flew into the air. There was no way to grab her and pull her back. All I could do was watch as Diana's body arced back and plummet downwards towards the decaying sea below. Uh-oh. She no longer had her wings. I was afraid of that. So she couldn't fly to save herself. Yeah! Fun fact with the decaying sea. You don't really drown and die when you hit it. You just kind of enter limbo and... yeah.
Any creature unfortunate enough to fall into that cursed stretch of
Thanks,
water
Shadow.
will be doomed to sink into an endless black void. They can never die due to the dark magic in the water, but they can never come back up. There's no saving them.
Yeah, what he said. No! I reached out, despite the futility of it, towards Diana and watched her sink through the air as gravity took hold. I barely had time to blink as a figure ran past my body and pushed off the ledge of the window, zipping straight down towards Diana's body.
Isaiah!
Uh-oh. You know, both of you dying isn't gonna help anything. Sero, face pale as snow, had projected his body towards her and managed to wrap his arms around her form, causing her to cling to him. Both demons, however, plummeted down towards the dark waters, quickly vanishing from sight. Oops. I couldn't even see the splash their bodies made as they hit the water surface. Diana! I gripped the edge of the tower, not believing what I was seeing. This couldn't have been real. Diana and Sero were gone, even as Sero called her name, even as the magic was on their side. How could they be gone? garbled noise of the Demon Lord's throat being impaled barely caused me to turn and see Sam ran his sword through his father's neck. At last, the Demon Lord fell, lifeless for sure. However, my vision became obscured by tears. I watched behind a veil of tears as Sam rushed over to me and wrapped his arms around me, pulling me close and laying my head on his shoulder.
Are you okay?
No. I could barely even utter a no or shake my head. I buried my face into Sam's shoulder, gripping to him at the sight of Diana falling, burned itself into my memory. I felt something in my soul lift with despair, but I couldn't have cared less. I heard the heavy sounds of footsteps rush towards us, but I didn't lift my head up.
Sam!
Hey, buddy.
Wait, where's...
Down there somewhere? Gestures to water?
Diana and Sarah were gone.
Uh-huh. What he said.
Gone?
They went skinny dipping, only without the skinny dipping part.
They fell into the sea.
Bingo. I felt Sam nod, still hugging me tightly. He held my head close to him as he spoke for us.
Diana saved her from that bastard's last attack. The guard jumped after her.
A sad silence engulfed the room. What could have been said? The Demon Lord was defeated, but the rebellion had lost its queen. For a moment, the world felt dark and cold, as if the war had been lost alongside Diana, despite the rebellion obtaining victory. I gripped onto Sam, feeling deep sadness for the entire situation. Diana saved my life, sheltered me, and fell into a seemingly endless sea because of me. Sam, feeling my anguish, tightened his embrace around me and let me bury my face in his chest. This war had ended at last, but now we didn't know where to go. At least, that's what I thought. Sam gently loosened his embrace around me and looked to the remaining rebel demons with a hard gaze. I looked up, wiping my eyes in confusion. What was wrong now?
Will you all honor her words?
Her words? Wait, she gave it to you?
Sweetie, explain. What? What indeed? There was more? What did Sam mean? Faye looked to her companions as they stared at Sam in shock.
Well, we don't have much of a choice, do we?
Well, I mean, we could rebel all over again.
We can't exactly refuse the Lord of Dragons.
True? Question mark? I looked up at Sam, feeling completely lost. Sam looked down at me and helped me stand before releasing my body and stepping away from me. With a sigh, he looked down at the floor. Sam?
Diana made me promise something. If she died, then...
Oh, I don't think I'm gonna like where this is going. Then... Sam looked to his brothers in nervousness. I looked over as well to see them confused, but ushering him to continue before turning back to Sam and holding his hand. Then what?
If she died, then I'd step in for the rebellion and take the throne.
Oh. I'm okay with this. I stared wide-eyed at Sam. What? Sam was now the leader of the rebellion? Well, I think the rebellion's over. What of the others? I looked to the other rebel leaders to see them bow their heads to Sam, answering my mental question and causing me to look back at my fiancé. What about us? Would Sam leave me? Would he make me stay? Did that make me queen? I can live with that. Did that mean I had to stay no matter what? We had to stay? What about the human world? It's a mess. This is much better. Sam, most likely feeling my nervousness in my hands, grasped them and gently pulled me to him.
Look, I made a promise to her, but I'm yours first. If taking the throne means leaving you, then I'd rather burn it.
Hey!
Faye, shush. Sam. His eyes burned into my gaze, showing me his utter devotion. He was serious about needing to take it, but I knew that he would never leave me or force me away from him. Sam gently rubbed my hands with his thumbs and stared down at them.
So, I'm leaving the choice up to you. The Demon Lord's dead, so we can go back and live normal lives and whatever in the human world.
You know, your day job as a cop, my family. Yeah, whatever. Or we can stay and rule the demon world. Sam nodded, affirming my assumption. It was a lot to take in. I wasn't sure how to respond. The dream of me looking back to see my family and friends began to haunt me. If I stayed, I would never be able to see them again. No, we just open up portals and they come and visit. More than that, would the demon world even accept the human queen? I don't think they're gonna have much of a choice. Would I have to become a demon or something? Hey, also valid. Sam nodded as Shadow stepped up.
Naturally, demons would never accept a human as their ruler. Besides, while it is impossible for a demon to be separated from their magic and become human, the same isn't the case the other way around.
Really?
We'd be able to turn you into a succubus.
Cool.
A demon of Lilith.
Yay!
As they were originally formed from a being who was once human before.
Cool. So I would be a succubus if I stayed. But I'd be ripping myself away from my family and my friends. Was it fair to them? Was it fair to me? What about my family and friends? Sam lowered his head as James stepped forward.
If you decide to stay, then we would be tasked with asking angels to remove any memories of you from the human world.
Ah. Okay. That's awkward. My heart dropped. My parents, my friends, anyone who knew me would forget. It would be for the best. But to think that I would no longer exist for them made my eyes water slightly. I wasn't sure what to say. I felt myself freeze in place, unsure whether to run back into the light of the human world, or to stay in the dark of the demon world. I don't know, it looks fairly lit up. I could feel the situation sink hard into my stomach, but I knew I had to make a choice. Thoughts of Diana pushing me away from the Demon Lord's final attack replayed in my head, reminding me that she gave her life for me when she was meant to take up the responsibility of having a world on her shoulders. Sam gripped my hands tightly, causing me to gaze up into his eyes.
I know this is a big decision, but just know that whatever you choose, I'll be with you no matter what.
I stared up at him, seeing an endless world of love buried within his emerald irises. He would put me first no matter what. But what would I choose? My family and friends were important to me, but this world became important too. I closed my eyes, remembering my grandfather's words. You should do what makes you happy. I opened my eyes and smiled at Sam, my heart finally reaching a decision. I want to return to the human world, to stay in the demon world. Let's become queen. I'm gonna stay in the demon world. This was Sam's home. This was the place Diana and the entire rebellion had fought to protect and save. My time here made this world precious to me, and I wanted to take care of it as Diana would have. My heart gave a gentle thump, letting me know that I had made the right decision. Sam smiled brightly and nodded. His brothers and their wives nodded, accepting my answer. But the rebel leaders lowered their heads in respect to me and Sam. I quickly turned to them and smiled, knowing that they needed to be there and help us rebuild the world we were left with. We hope all of you will help us rebuild this world. Diana would have wanted that. A lump in my throat almost blocked me from finishing the sentence. It was deeply painful to refer to Diana as dead, as she gave her life for me. But the world needed a leader, and it now had a strong group of people, ready to lead it. The 4 rebel leaders looked at each other and nodded.
We will do our best. Thank you for trusting us.
What are we gonna do first? We could do all kinds of really amazing things, like rebuild the forests. No, wait, have a party. Wait, no.
Never change, Faye.
Faye, quiet.
Shadow, shush.
Oh, lighten up. The war is over.
Exactly.
We have a reason to celebrate.
Woo! Coronation time. The queen is dead. Long live the king. I smiled, happy to know that the world was in good hands. However, Faye took a breath and looked to me with a small smile before forming a small lavender-colored lily in her hands.
Before we turn you into a demon, though, since Diana is... well, she wanted to give you this.
Huh? I stared at the flower in surprise. What was it? I reached out and took it into my hands, practically feeling magic and energy run through it. It's lovely. I wish we could see it.
A flower of Lilith? But how can that be?
Well, Diana was a purebred succubus of Lilith.
They were said to have died out generations ago.
I continued to stare at the flower, entranced by its spell. It was such a gorgeous-looking flower, I could barely tear my eyes away. But we're not gonna get to see it as the player. Boo.
Put it behind your ear. I think she said it was magical or something.
Okay. Boop. I tilted my head before nodding and lifting it to tuck it behind my ear. As it settled against my ear, I felt the mist circle my head and form into a flower crown of lavender lilies that I could see in the reflection of the remains of the stained glass window. The way everyone looked at me made me feel like I was in bridal wear already.
Whoa.
What now? It's just a flower crown, Sam.
Amazing!
Huh? I looked to Sam, see him grin from ear to ear at the sight of me. I blushed, feeling somehow timid with the flower crown on my head, but happy to know that it had remained my husband speechless. However, as I lifted my hand to the flowers, feeling their soft petals, I could feel the world fade to a white color. Huh? From the direction of where Diana had fallen, a figure stepped towards me, bathed in light. I covered my eyes with my arm for a moment, before seeing who it was. Diana. With a smile, Diana stepped in front of me and gently ran her hand along the crown and over the petals of flowers. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, unbelieving that I was seeing her.
I have to say, I'm shocked. But I'm very happy knowing my world is in good hands.
Diana chuckled, stopping me from whatever I was planning on saying, before cupping my chin and making me gaze into her eyes.
Promise me that you will take care of the I mean, the king of the demon world. A king is no one without his queen. And in the demon world, the queen is the ultimate power.
Exactly. I felt tears form and drip down my cheeks, but I nodded. Something in my heart lifted, and I felt at ease with everything I had made the right choice. With a smile, Diana tilted forward and kissed my forehead beneath the crown, before stepping away.
May you be happy with your choice, dear. And thank you.
I hope you and Sarah find some peace in the blackness. Diana slowly turned and began to walk away, further into the light of the area. Sarah, who was also bathed in light, slowly appeared and waited for Diana with an arm out for her. Diana took his hand and smiled up at him, before looking back to me, nodding and walking away. As they both vanished into the light, the world around me reappeared with everyone staring at me in shock.
Whoa, hey. Are you alright?
Yeah, just had a vision. You know how it is. What? Huh? I quickly looked at Sam before lifting my hand to my cheek, feeling the trails of my rogue tears left behind over my skin. I wiped my eyes and cheeks before nodding, laughing softly. I'm fine. Sorry. I smiled brightly, taking in a breath, and looked at Sam while taking his hands. Let's rebuild this world together. Together.
Well, you did it! Congratulations! You've made it to the end of your story. I have to say, I am very surprised at how it turned out.
Me too.
Nevertheless, I'm glad things worked out in the end, whether it was for the better or otherwise.
What do you mean, or otherwise? I'm fucking queen.
Oh, crap! I'm sorry. I'm glad everything worked out, Your Highness.
Thank you.
Did you ever imagine that you'd end up being a queen?
No, but I always kind of hoped.
That is so fantastic, though! Think about it! You are technically the second human to become a full-fledged demon and become royalty.
I know, right?
Anyways, you've been through a lot, so why don't we skip to...
The honeymoon? Agreed, let's go.
Huh? You want to know what happened after the war?
Not really.
Well, I guess I could tell you.
Yeah, I guess you're going to.
After the war was finished, the entire rebellion celebrated. Word spread far and wide about the rebellion's success, and soon every kingdom in the abyssal plains had become united with the new authority.
Aww.
You would think demons would be more hostile towards each other, being demons and all, but the threat of the demon lord was what brought the entire world together. Because of the tragedy of Diana and Sarah, you and Sam took up the throne of the entire demon world. You were transformed into a succubus and ruled at Sam's side.
Yay? Question mark?
Many demons knew you were a human first, but didn't dare speak ill of you, since you were the queen and the wife of the fabled Lord of Dragons.
Which would make me Lady of Dragons.
Huh? You don't know the legend? Well, it's an old tale, but to basically sum it up...
Okay.
When a demon has a pure heart, full of true strength and love, he will possess the power to conquer and consume the power of a dragon, making him the Lord of Dragons.
Aww.
Man, guess you got lucky, huh? You're pretty much married to the strongest demon, not just in the demon world, but all 5 worlds.
Go me.
Anyways, you and Sam were able to bring the world together and bring about an everlasting peace. With the rebel leaders beside you to help you along the way, you both helped shape the world for a bright future.
Cool.
And I believe that is everything that happened after... well, except for your story, anyway.
Which I totally want to know about.
Since you rule the demon world now, how the demon world runs is entirely up to you. I'm sure Sam will happily walk along with you on your new adventure.
Aww.
After all, while demon marriage is entirely up to you, ruling an entire plane of existence is a whole new ballgame. But I'm sure you can handle it.
Me too.
Huh? How do I know? Well, I'm pretty confident that you'll rock the queen thing. Take a look for yourself.
Cool. To become a demon was an entirely new adventure for me, one I was very eager to go through. The ritual involved in turning me into a succubus involved candles and lilies and magic, spinning through the air in threads of power. But, being that I was seemingly endless cask of energy, going through with the ritual was surprisingly easy to do.
I was allowed to keep my memories of the human world, but my skin became etched with black lavender markings. What really surprised everyone were my horns. Instead of having one on each side of my head, I had two. One each side curling around like ram's horns, and the second pair protruding up like a mini bull horns. Apparently, it was the mark of a truly powerful demon. I was very proud of myself for accomplishing it, regardless. The wedding was even stranger, however. There were so many things involved that I could barely wrap my head around it, but the one thing I was able to remember was the orbs forming in front of our chests, and the eternal green and lavender light connecting both. Was this the binding of souls? From that day on, I could almost sense whatever emotion Sam was feeling. I was able to find him anywhere, and know that he was alright. I became a major asset as we became king and queen of the Abyssal Plains. It took me a longer period to get used to the feeling of being royalty. I had responsibilities, duties as the matriarch of an entire world, and it frightened me beyond anything. However, the touch of Sam's hand in mine always managed to dissolve my fears. However, there was never a day that went by that I didn't think about what had happened before I became a demon. It was a heavy chapter of my life, one that tested the love between me and Sam. To think that I was married to the Lord of Dragons. Apparently it was a very powerful title to own, and I happened to be in love with the man who carried it. A title like that, I was sure, carried a large amount of responsibility. Still, I was confident that we would get through it and stay together, no matter what came our way. Demon, devil, dragon, it didn't matter to us. We were unstoppable together. The memory of my own power tingled through me every time I grew confident, eagle reminding me that I had strength of my own. I never let anyone come between me and Sam ever again. The role of queen quickly became one of stress and moral questioning. There were always 10 or 20 issues every day to deal with, dozens more to look into, and hundreds more still to simply hear about. The guest room I was once human in became an escape from my duties. Well, the bed Sam and I shared in our master bedroom was obnoxiously large. I felt more comfortable in the peace of a smaller bed I had once claimed for a week. There was even more times I would glamour myself human once more and simply sleep. Since demons didn't sleep, I was constantly working. It was nice on the rare occasion to shut my eyes and let myself become lost in a dream world once more. Sometimes Sam would join me. It was adorable, remembering his sleeping face, a goofy grin, hair ruffled and wild, all in all peaceful. As much as we were perfectly fine being demons, it became a treat to indulge in the feeling of having human forms, especially not having horns to adjust for when lying down. Yeah, that would take getting used to. Despite the danger of closing one's eyes in the demon world, I was confident that we were safe. I let the memories of my past flutter around in my mind as I lay in bed, slowly easing myself up from the dream world and back into reality. When my eyes fluttered open, I could only smile at the sight beside me. Remaining in my human form just a while longer, I slowly sat up and stared at the sleeping Lord of Dragons, feeling waves of contentment and joy rush through me at the sight. As my eyes traveled up, I took notice of the lily on the nightstand. It was Diana's lily, and it was the only fresh decoration in the room. In remembrance of the past, it was a beautiful vase created by the demon craftsman, decorating the nightstand perfectly. Because of its magical nature, it was still alive and looked as freshly bloomed as the day I received it. Despite being a bittersweet day, Sam and I cherished the lily and cared for it a lot. It was a physical memory of a strong chapter in my life, and I felt blessed to still have it. I let another sigh before gently nudging Sam. Sam, it's almost noon. Come on. Sam didn't move. I simply chuckled. He was indeed a deep sleeper. I gently leaned in and kissed Sam's cheek, hoping to break the spell of sleep on him with a true love's kiss. It's time to get up, Sam.
5 more minutes.
Dude, it's noon. Get up. Never mind. Stay asleep. I could only laugh before crawling further into the couch and sitting beside him. While breakfast was waiting, Sam deserved to sleep a bit longer. He had been working hard as the king, so it was no surprise to see him struggle to get up. I rustled Sam's hair a bit, making him groan and push my hand off tiredly, only spurring me to laugh harder as I did. Sam finally opened an eye and stared up at me, an exhausted glaze over his eye. I covered my mouth and giggled, a little apologetic for waking him up with my laughter. Sorry, I'll be quiet. Sam shook his head and yawned, stretching his arms up and shutting his eyes, before opening them again and lazily looking up at me from his pillow.
Morning, doofus.
Morning, Dorkbat. Morning, Sam. I think we may have overslept. Sam gave a toothy grin before gently pulling me down to lay beside him. Whoa, Sam. I was silenced by Sam nuzzling my shoulder and pulling me close to cuddle against my leg. My face began to feel warm as I felt warmth around me.
We'll do our duties later. I want to stay here for a while.
I'm not gonna argue that. I took the moment in before nodding, wrapping my arms around him, nuzzling his chest. Sam smiled and kissed my head, relaxing into the embrace. He was perfect in my arms, and nothing could have been better than being in his arms. It was like lying in paradise. Did you have a good sleep?
You?
Our words became simple, but our embrace only intensified our love for each other. The bed became like a cloud, and the room almost lost its shape in my eyes, as all I could focus on was Sam.
I love you. You know that, right?
Wah. I love you too.
I mean it. I love you and care about you so much.
Oh, I'd hope so as your queen. Also, giving up my humanity. I looked up at Sam, seeing the love he spoke of burn brightly in his eyes as he locked his gaze with mine. I felt my heart beating wildly in my chest before leaning up and nuzzling my forehead to his with a peaceful, happy smile. And now you, Automatus, however it's pronounced, more than anyone will ever know. There was nothing more that needed to be said. My love was simple but powerful enough to move the continents. That's not simple then. Our love may have seemed plain at a glance, but within our hearts burned the flames of our devotion and passion for one another. I couldn't stop my smile from growing before I leaning in and kissing Sam lovingly, feel him kiss back with the same amount of love and passion I had. No matter what, we would always find each other. We would always wind up back in each other's arms, and we would fly through every obstacle in our way onto the wings of our love. Sorry, that's so cliche. And that was my perfect happily ever after. And a new life. Ooh, we got theme song this time. So I guess that means we got the air quotes good ending? Although Kate did seem to hint there was a better outcome yet to come. And my apologies for skipping that. Also, achievement unlocked, a new life. As I was saying, Kay alluded to maybe this isn't the best possible ending, but we still have 2 more routes to go down, and hopefully next time we come back, I'll remember this character's supposed to be called Emerald, not Ariel. I know why I did this, because I'm editing the arc where the character's name is Ariel right now, and yeah, for some reason my mind just jumped to that's what I was calling her, instead of that's the name of a different Mika. Anyway, until next, Taklikatelak Hero.